Asahi is known throughout school for being terrible at keeping secrets. However, he has been able to keep his crush on his cool and reserved classmate Youko to himself. He watches as Youko declines to eat lunch with others in class as well as sit apart from everyone else during gym class. After an accident at the gym, his friends cannade Yu to encourage him to confess to Youko after his confession to Nagisa Aizawa was brutally crushed last summer. He rushes into the school to confess to Youko, but accidentally sees her with a pair of wings. In that, Asahi is excited to go home with Youko, but realizes that she is dense and thinks of him as a good friend. Asahi is worried he can't keep her secret, but she states she has faith in him. The next day, Nagisa Aizawa is suspicious of Asahi. She has also noticed that he started to watch Youko after she rejected him, which makes her annoyed. At lunch, Nagisa confronts him and asks if he really had a crush on her, and accidentally rejects him again. Later, Asahi and Youko have lunch together and she tells him that for vampires drinking blood is like kissing, and they actually eat like normal humans. Youko accidentally eats spicy food, and her identity is accidentally revealed to Nagisa. And they are shocked when a tiny alien Nagisa appears to confront the vampire. Nagisa reveals she is actually a tiny alien operating a robot suit. Although she will keep Youko's secret, she tries to erase Asahi's memory so he runs away. Youko saves him from having his memory wiped, and Nagisa agrees to trust him to keep their secrets. Akemi tortures Asahi's friends to try to get them to gossip. She is a childhood friend of Asahi and is suspicious of his relationship with Youko. She reveals she recorded the classroom, but he states he is only friends with Youko. And after class she chases him until he is saved by Nagisa. Nagisa defends him from Akemi so he can visit Youko, who is sick at home with a cold. Youko is surprised to see him but welcomes him because she has never had friends over. But Nagisa accidentally reveals his location and Akemi dodges her to make her way to Youko's house. They trap Akemi, but the next day she writes gossip about Asahi and Youko in the school newspaper. Asahi tries to get the article and chases Akemi to the school roof, and he uses reverse psychology to get her to stop publishing the scandalous article. Asahi's friend Kanade later tells him that Akemi seems to be putting on an act, and outside the school Akemi argues with her glasses, which are actually a goddess of fortune. One day Asahi is shocked to see Nagisa outside of her robot suit, and she reveals that earlier that day her large suit didn't have time to be charged because she was eavesdropping on Asahi and Youko. Nagisa left her robot in the girls' bathroom, so Asahi has to go help her get it. They meet Youko on the way and plug in the large Nagisa to charge at the nurse's office. But when trying to leave the office, Akemi finds the small Nagisa who tries to pretend to be a figurine. Akemi investigates the figure, and Asahi has to step in when another student arrives. Asahi announces he made the figure and runs away with little Nagisa. They hide in the sports shed and somehow Nagisa grows to human size. And to hide her identity they pretend to have a fight in front of their classmates. At the end of the day, Nagisa starts to have feelings for Asahi. Youko is very tan one day at school, and reveals that vampires tan easily. Nagisa decides to train Youko to help her avoid the sunlight. Youko practices running from one shady tree to another, watched over by Nagisa. The next day the group take Youko in town to avoid sunlight in the public, but they accidentally run into garlic and cross it. When they run out of shade, Youko gives up, and they realize she could have used sunblock the entire time to avoid sunlight. They go to an amusement park to celebrate, but Nagisa can't make it, so it's just Asahi and Youko. They have fun going on rides and eating food, and Youko tells him she is half human, half vampire. She also tells him she has a werewolf childhood friend who is her rival. They meet her friend Shiru Shishido on the road and he aggressively confronts Asahi. But when he hears that they went to the amusement park together, he starts to leave and cries. Shiru tells them he does not want to get in the way of a young couple and apologizes to Asahi. But when the full moon comes out, Shiru turns into Shiho, the true form of the wolfman who has a different personality from Shiru. At Youko's place, Shiho starts to flirt with Asahi, and annoyed Youko uses a picture of a moon to transform her into Shiru. But later Nagisa arrives and accidentally finds Shiho on top of Asahi. Nagisa runs away and comes back, but is shocked to see Shiru on top of Asahi, so she runs away again. The next day they explain the situation to Nagisa, and Shiho transfers into their class. Shiho keeps flirting with Asahi, which makes Nagisa angry. And in the hallway, Youko and Asahi see Ak and Komodo, who is clearly not human. She says she is related to their teacher Akari, and the horns are a decoration. They find out that Akane is actually a very old devil and the great-great-grandmother of Akari and the principal of the school. An argument ends up with a competition between Youko and Akane on who is the most attractive, with Asahi as the judge. They try to wear swimsuits and other costumes but fail, since Shiho is better at the battle than them. They both lose when they eat spicy food and blow up the school gym. Asahi has cooking class and has to make curry. He is joined by Youko, Nagisa, and Shiho, but they are all terrible at making curry. Nagisa uses a recipe but accidentally makes chocolate cake. The girls work together to make the curry, but Nagisa and Youko insist on adding a secret ingredient to make it better. Meanwhile, Akemi meets Akane and is tricked by the principal into giving her pudding. Akane and Akari go to eat the curry from the cooking class, but they see poison gas from the student cooking and leave. The next day, Akane loved the chocolate she ate so much she will destroy the world if she doesn't get her chocolate. They find out a meteor is hurtling into Earth, but Akari notices that meteor moves when the principal is distracted, so she starts to torture the principal with chocolate as payback for all the pranks the principal pulled on her. The girls arrive to feed Akane their horrible chocolate, and the group team up to feed the principal chocolate to save the Earth. Kanade encourages Asahi to confess to Youko again at the pool, but when he invites her, she can't swim. Later, they all end up going to the pool together to help teach Youko how to swim. They give Youko swimming lessons like floating and kicking her legs, and Asahi is happy to help Youko learn how to swim. Akemi arrives with her younger brothers and talks to Asahi's friends about her past with Asahi. That night, Youko and Asahi secretly meet at the pool again to have another lesson, and she tells him how her mother and father, a human and a vampire, met and became lovers. She tells him thanks to him, she has many friends now at school and they grow closer together. The pair celebrate as Youko successfully swims for the first time. One day Asahi hears that Youko is hungry, so he takes her to an all-you-can-eat cake shop with his friends. But he notices that she accidentally has her wings visible at the shop. He covers for her, but their waitress is Akemi, who wants to feed them spicy food. Since Youko will have a bad reaction to spice, Asahi eats all the spicy puffs and nearly dies, while Asahi's friends tell Youko that he cares about her. At school, Akemi has lost her glasses and runs around trying to find them. Everyone she meets are surprised at her softer attitude. And when Nagisa helps her, they find out that Akane has stolen the glasses. Akane uses her devil tricks to hide the glasses, but Asahi is able to see through all the tricks. Akemi recovers the glasses, but Nagisa finds out the glasses are possessed and they were a gift from Asahi to Akemi when they were children. Asahi and Youko arrive and Akemi tries to avoid confessing to him while her glasses fight her. In the resulting mess, the Nagisa accidentally wears the glasses which confess to Asahi. The group invites Asahi and Nagisa to the summer festival to get them alone together. But the atmosphere between them is awkward because of the accidental confession. Nagisa plays carnival games to win prizes like a large teddy bear, which she gives to a child nearby. She later admits she is having fun at the festival and talks about her home planet. When they get ice cream, Nagisa accidentally drops them on him, and she realizes she really has a crush on Asahi. The next day, Nagisa is embarrassed to see Asahi, and Akane tells Youko that she may have feelings for Asahi. Akane plays tricks on Asahi, mocking her about her crush taking the form of Asahi, but is eventually stopped by Akari. The real Asahi arrives, and the human-vampire couple have a moment together but are interrupted by Akari. Asahi becomes worried when Youko seems to be avoiding him, and on the school roof Shiho tells her to be honest with her feeling. Nagisa feels responsible for the rift between her friends. Akane meets her and wants to add her pranks to the love triangle but is stopped by Akari. The group find out she has a picture of her and Asahi at the festival, and Nagisa eats the picture to hide it. Youko sees them together, and that night Asahi has a nightmare of Youko leaving the school. He speaks to her in the morning and they agree to meet at the roof. Before he meets her, his friends encourage him to confess properly this time. Nagisa and Akemi are eavesdropping, and Akemi gives Nagisa encouragement. Before Asahi can confess, Nagisa ambushes him to stop his confession because she loves him and wants to confess to him herself. He makes his way to the roof to see Youko's dad taking her away, and asks Nagisa to help him. They explain the situation to Akari and Akane, and the principal uses her devil powers to help track down Youko at the cost of Akari's car. Nagisa apologizes for preventing Asahi's confession and helps him and Shiho infiltrate the vampire mansion. They meet Youko's dad Genjiro, who is gigantic, and they try to run away with Youko after using a garlic bomb. But they find out that Youko was visiting her parents to see her sick mom. Genjiro finds out that Asahi knows her secret and they run away from him into Youko's room. There, the couple clear up the misunderstandings from the summer festival and become friends again. They confront Genjiro, and Asahi asks him to let Youko continue to go to school if he erases his memories of Youko's promise. The kids remind Genjiro of his school days with his wife, and he asks Asahi to erase all his memories of Youko. To protect Youko's happy school life, Asahi agrees, but Youko prevents him from erasing his memory because he is important to her. The problem is solved because Genjiro's memories accidentally get erased. They all return to the school, and Asahi promises to Youko he will never try to erase his memories of her ever again. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.